I picked up quite a few of these boxes a while ago at Car Boot's sale, and I love doing these up and making them into something different and unique. That isn't put on there, that is just really a transfer, or it might be slightly lasered in, I'm not sure, but it doesn't go very deep. All I'm going to do is give this quick rub over, not to get rid of it, but to give it a bit more of a key for when I'm going to stick my bits on. I really enjoy doing these types of boxes. It gives me a lot of pleasure, and people love them as well. I think I got about 15 of them for about £10, and they were all different sizes, and they've been very, very popular. So all I'm going to do now is give that a bit of a clean off with a baby wipe and let that dry a little bit. Yeah, I think it was printed on because a lot of it's coming off now. Doesn't matter. It's absolutely fine as it is. We can move that. This one was from Fortnum and Mason's. Very posh. And it was a candied fruit selection. So now I'm going to use quite a few different molds of things to put on the top of them. And I'm going to pour these molds using some resin-crete, because once that goes hard, it works brilliantly. It's much better than plaster of Paris. It also dries so much whiter than everything else, so you can get a really good colour on it. So I've got 100 grams there of resin-crete, and I'm going to put just a little bit more water in it than normal. I'm going to put 35 grams of water in. That'll give me a little bit more working time with it, and it will make it cure just a little bit slower. I'm using my fork to mix this up with, because that way I'm almost guaranteed not to have any lumps in it. And the other great thing about it is all the bubbles that you see that are in there at the moment, they will all come out really easily. They'll just self-disperse. I'm going to pour that in my little silicone jug now I've got it mixed up, and that way it's easier to fill up. Pour them slowly to avoid trapping any air in there. You're doing moulds like this. And if you need more than what you've got here, just wait for about an hour, demold them, and then fill them up again. There's that one done. I'm also going to use this one, which creates pipes. If I've got any resin-crete left over at the end, then I will just make some more. And these are a new mould I got. I love these. You're making it a little bit thinner allows you to get it into everywhere you want it. You don't want more than about 35 to 100 though, because it will make it too fragile and too thin, and it will shrink up a little bit more. But that I found works really well. It allows it to run into all your places, all your little nooks and crannies. So I'm going to finish these off, and then when they're cured, I'll show you what I'm going to do next. These are all nice and cured now, so these should come out really easily. Yeah, look how good they've come out. Lovely and white. And I'm going to show you how to stick these to things, without a doubt the easiest and best way. Now these are quite delicate, so take these out like that, and then fold your mould backwards, and that will come out like that. Look how beautiful that is, and how delicate that is. Same for these. Rather than try and pull them out your mould, fold the mould back. See, that one I must have broke when I moved it, but that doesn't matter. Look at the detail on that one. So I'm going to go ahead, I'll make a few more of these, and then once I've got enough made, I'll show you how I'm going to do the box and how the best way to fix these to the actual piece. Well, I've decided how I'm going to lay out my box, and that's how I'm going to lay it out. I really like the way that's come out so far. Now, I'm going to try and stick this all down without knocking it and causing it to go everywhere. So first thing I'm going to do is lift the lid off the box. I've got some tweezers ready, and now what I'm going to do is mix up a little bit of the resin-crete. Now, I'm not doing this by any measurements. I'm doing this by the consistency that I know I'm looking for. And that is not the normal consistency. When I'm using it as a glue, I tend to have it slightly different consistency. And I only mix up a little bit at a time, because the last thing we want is to be wasting lots of resin-crete. Ah, that's it. That's got to the consistency that I'm looking for. Maybe a little bit thicker. Yeah, that's better. And now all I do is decide where I'm going to start. So I'm going to start here. Move those bits out the way, and then place some on the bottom of this. And you will need to move quite quickly with this, and then push that into there, and then I can move around and do all the bits until everything is stuck on. And then I'll leave it probably 2 or 3 hours before I do the next stage. Or I'll put it in a curing box so it's heated up a lot more. Really easy, just put some on the back and then pop it in. These are all now set on here really well and they shouldn't go anywhere. What I'm going to do before I do anything else is give this a quick coat of paint. So I've got everything the same colour. And I'm going to use a black. It isn't all going to be black when it's finished. But this is my base coat. I want to make sure I get in everywhere as well with it. So unlike me, where I normally do these red and then bronze and gold, I'm going to be doing this silver and gold. And then I've got something I want to pop over it at the end as well to be able to give it a nice sheen. So I'm going to dry brush some silver into this all the way around, including the sides. Now I've already painted the box black, but I'm going to do something similar to this going through it. Doesn't take long to dry brush and you don't use much paint either. The black gives it a really nice base. If I don't like it when the gold goes on, I can always go back over it with some black paint and start again. Now I really like how that has come out, but I am going to try the gold on it because that is what I wanted to do. And if I don't, then I'm always going to wonder. If I don't like it, I'll paint it black again and then just do the silver on it. I'm not going to be as heavy with this. Oh no, I do like it. I think that gives it a really nice sheen to it. I'm going to go ahead and finish doing that all the way over it as well. Well, I'm really pleased I added the gold to it. That gives it a whole new dimension. I'm not sure if the camera's picking up how nice that actually looked. It is amazing. And now I'm going to try something even more different. And again, if it doesn't work, then I'm going to go back, paint it black, do the silver, and then just do the gold. So I'm now going to use this dragonfly glaze, and this is the green and gold one. I'm going to go over this fairly lightly. I don't want it solid, but I do want it to give that kind of glazed finish to parts of it. Should give a nice clear glaze of green and a greeny goldy colour. So far I'm really loving that. While that's drying, what I'm going to do is the box, and then I can show you what it all looks like. The base is all done now. What I'm going to do is pop it onto some of this felt to finish off this base. Should do us there. And this felt is the one that already sticks. Peel off the back in. Turn that over. Peel off the back in like that. Pop it on there. And then what I do is I go around this edge like this using my knife, pointing inwards so I don't cut the wood, and then trim it up. And then that will give you a really nice flush finish to the felt base. And that felt base will stay on there permanently and give it a really great finish. And there's the top of the box. I absolutely love how that has come out. I'm so pleased I pushed through and did the gold and the rest of that shimmer. I think that's come out really, really pretty. What do you think? Let me know in the comments what you think. Really easy upcycle. I'm going to probably use this for pencils and things and have it in my living room for when I want to sketch and do stuff. Check out the video I've got coming up next. If you want to see what else I've done with some boxes, some very different things, boot that like button, hit that subscribe button, but most of all, enjoy your crafting. Take care. Bye.